All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we are going to be learning slash relearning Git. So in the past, when I tried to learn Git, I learned the command line stuff, the CLI stuff, which is generally how you start learning Git. But then I transitioned to using UI for Git stuff because it's just a lot more convenient and it fits in well with, well, at the time it fit in well um, with the editor that I was using at the time, which was VS Code, because VS Code has like, I don't know if you need a separate Git extension for it or if it's just available out of the box or whatever. But there was Git support, so you could do various things like staging files and creating commits, and I think you could also manage branches. You could definitely switch to a different branch. I don't remember about creating branches, but yeah, I no longer use VS Code. My entire workflow is primarily terminal based now. So I a couple months back when I was setting up this whole when I was like moving my workflow over, I was looking for TUI Git alternatives or TUI alternatives to Git desktop clients, because at the time I was also using GitHub Desktop, so that was another UI for Git that I could use aside from VS Code. And yeah, long story short, I started using Git UI, which is a Rust-based Git client. It's a Rust-based Git TUI app. So let me show you. Let me initialize a repo, and then in here, I can open up Git UI. So this is Git UI. You can stage files in this area, stage and also commit. Here you can see a log of commits. Here you can see the files. We'll be adding more stuff to this as I'm going through the tutorial again. So okay, here's my thing, right? I decided to relearn Git. Mostly I don't really need to relearn it because I know like the basics, which is the basics of creating commits. What I really wanted to focus on was topics like branches and remotes. I don't really want to go too deep into like the advanced stuff, but at least as far as basics are concerned, I know a lot of the basics. But branches and remotes, these are two topics that I feel like I haven't explored nearly enough. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. So what I did is I created a prompt to ask Gemini to help me with this. So basically, Gemini has created a small course for me to go through, in which it'll explain basic topics. Let me hold on. Let me go to that. I can't show it on stream because it's on another machine, but I'm gonna be I'm gonna be reading it out. I'm gonna be reading out the whole, like, whatever I'm reading. I'm gonna read out the stuff. Uh, give me a second. Let me just find this tab. Ah, here it is. So I asked Gemini to create a small course for me. And in that course, teach me the basics, divide up the topics into separate chapters, and then allow me to, like, choose whichever chapter I want to jump to. I also asked Gemini to set up an example for each, or let's call it an exercise for each chapter, so that I can practice. And I also mentioned, okay, let me I don't know if the thing is not too long, I guess I can. Oh, it is quite long. I'm not going to be reading that out. But the gist of it is that I told Gemini that I I kind of know the basics of Git, CLI. I know the basics of Git itself, but let's assume that I don't know them, right? I want you to teach me how to use Git, but keeping in mind that I'm going to be using Git UI, not Git CLI. That's an important distinction. And of course, I understand that certain things you do need the CLI for doing certain things. Like for example, what I just did, which was initializing a repo. In order to do that, you need to use git init. So that's something that I can understand. But the rest of the stuff, stuff like git add and git commit and the various git related commands, at least the more common ones for version control and backups and whatever, I want to do the majority of that using Git UI or to whatever extent Git UI allows. By the way, I'm still as much as I'm loving Git UI. I haven't like seen any issues with using Git UI for at least my use case, which is going to be very basic version control. There isn't anything complex going on in what I'm doing, so I don't need like the more advanced features. Right? I'm still trying to decide whether I want to go with Git UI or what was the other one called? I forgot. There was a Go based, as in a client written in Go, a term sorry, a terminal client written in Go, which I can't remember the name. But yeah, I'm trying to decide between both of these. So far, I mean, Git UI, it seems to be getting the job done for me. Like I said, I'm not doing any complex things, but there's no buts there. I'm not doing any complex things. Um, However, whatever I am doing, it so far Git UI seems to be getting the job done for me. Okay, that being said, give me a second. Let me open up my stream manager on my phone. Sorry, I had TikTok open. I don't know if that came through on stream. I had TikTok open and one of Iron Mouse's clips was playing. Give me a second. Let me open up my Twitch and dude, holy shit. I I've been busy. I've been busy. Also, I started using Task Warrior. I've been learning a lot about Task Warrior recently. Because like I have my hacker mind map, which is my mind mapping tool, and that's useful. That's great in its own way. But I kind of feel like a dedicated task management related app can kind of help me keep things organized, at least for that specific day. Like immediately on that specific day, what all do I need to get done? I can do it through something like Task Warrior. To show you guys what I'm talking about, let me create a new window. I don't remember if there are already tasks here. No. Okay. So this is Task Warrior. In Task Warrior, you can add, you can like create a task. Let's say some task O1. I have to do the thing. I can add that task, and then I can also list out the tasks that I have for, that specific. Actually, so far this is just a task. There's no time limit on this. You can set a date or date and time for when the task is due. You can also organize the tasks into like projects. For example, let's say task add I don't know. Let's say create GDD or game design doc, and then I can add this under the project game dev proj, or just game dev. No, I can, okay, game dev proj. So now when I list out the tasks, you'll see this task is shown as belonging to so-and-so project. I can also create tasks for, I can also set priorities for tasks. On the right side here, you can see an urgency score. So if I assign a task high priority, it gets a higher urgency score, and so it gets placed at the top of the list. Let me show you. Task add do stuff on stream. Okay, and then I can set the priority to high. And now when I list this out, you'll see there's an extra column there saying priority H, and you can see the urgency score is 6 for this. Let me try adding a new task now to show you that it doesn't get added to the higher priority task. Let's say something 01. Look at that. The higher priority task is still up there. This is great. Task Warrior is it's a pretty useful tool. That's why I've been spending some time exploring it. I kind of tried to jump directly to the Task Warrior TUI, because there's also a TUI client for Task Warrior. So you don't have to do this command stuff all the time. You can just open up that TUI client. I don't remember if I installed it here or not, but you can just open up that TUI client, and in that client you can take various actions for your tasks. At some point I might go back to that, but I kind of found it a little bit confusing. Not that the client was confusing, it was just confusing for me as a beginner in Task Warrior, because I didn't take the time to learn the basics of the CLI. And so a bunch of stuff that I was seeing in the client, it was kind of like I was kind of lost as to, hey, what is this? Why is this here? What is this thing doing? And so on. So I was like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's learn the Task Warrior CLI first. Let me use it for a little bit with the CLI, and then later on, I can jump to the TUI if I feel the need. So far, I'm kind of enjoying doing the CLI thing. It does get a little bit tedious when you compare it uh, to TUI, because I constantly have to, like, if I want to look at a list of the tasks, I have to type task. If I add a task, like let's say, I don't know, whatever, right? It's not showing me the list now, right? So I have to now type task in order to see it again. You won't have all of these issues in a TUI client or even a GUI client. I'm pretty sure there's a GUI client for it, but I'm more interested in TUI stuff. So, what was I saying? Yeah, in a TUI client, in basically any UI client, there's a bunch of things there's a bunch of things that get automated for you, so you don't have to do as much work, as much manual stuff. You still have to, like, do some work there in order to manage your data and to actually create the tasks and modify tasks and organize them and all of that. But it's relatively, it's a step up. Let's just say that the TUI client is a step up. Okay, so yeah, I was spending time doing this the past couple of days, and then I'm doing this thing as well, the Git UI thing. I'm okay, so I kind of feel like I'm getting to the end of my journey of learning Git, which is something that I've started and stopped multiple times over the past couple of years. Because, like, learning the basics of Git, like really basic stuff, I did that a while back. It's the slightly more advanced stuff within the basics still, but slightly more advanced stuff that I wanted to learn. Not even slightly more advanced. It's just that within the basics, there was still a bunch of topics that I hadn't had the chance to learn, or I hadn't taken the time to learn, and so that's why I actually did a couple of streams in the past where we were learning Git using, well, we were learning it using what we were learning was using the command line stuff, using the CLI stuff, but I was translating it to VS Code, Git UI, and I was basically just applying that knowledge in the UI because like I didn't need to practice the CLI stuff. I just needed to understand what is going on and then apply that on the UI side. Apply that to doing Git stuff, but through UI. But yeah, I didn't really get too deep into branching and remotes. So these are two things that I definitely want to cover. Branching, because branching is important. Like at least to me, it feels like a very important feature. Also learning. Okay. Um, I don't know if the stream restarted or yeah, give me a second to figure this stuff out because there's also a chance that the Python client that was running. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure we are live. I don't know if we are live right now. Let me just go to my thing here. Let me refresh the page. Okay, so it still says 19 minutes, meaning I'm still live, I think. Hopefully. I'm not sure. I don't know. Did the stream cut out? I don't really have anyone watching, so I can't really ask anyone. Are we still on BRB? We are still on BRB. Okay. Let me just start up the Python client again, and then I can. Yeah, the timer still says 19 minutes. I'm just going to restart the Twitch app on my phone so I can open up my stream manager. Give me a second. I'm just going to set the whole thing up and we will resume our regularly scheduled programming or however that goes. I think we are good. Yeah, I think we should be good. Hopefully, maybe. I hope. Check, check. Yeah. Okay. So the VTuber app is working as well. And let's come back here. Hopefully the SSH session hasn't crashed. No, we're good. The Twitch app is not loading on my phone, so I'm kind of confused about whether I'm actually live or not. Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Hold on. Let me try to open up someone else's stream on one of my other machines. Okay, so somebody else's stream did open up. Great. So from that, I know that we are good. Okay, right. Great. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so like I was saying, I don't remember what I was saying. I think I was talking about Git. That yeah, I wanna relearn the basics. I mean, I've kind of already learned the basics, but like there were certain topics like, well, more specifically, not just like specifically, branching and remotes that I wanted to um, go deeper into and properly understand. And so uh, I wanna explore that, but I decided to. I mean, I was anyways gonna ask Gemini's help for setting up a small little mini course for me. So I decided, okay, if I'm asking it to create a little mini course for these two topics, then I might as well include the basics as well, so I can just, you know, refresh all of my knowledge, and yeah, it'll be beneficial. So here's what we are doing. Okay, I have so what Gemini did, I basically asked Gemini to set up a small course for me, teaching me very basic Git topics. And I asked it to divide those topics into multiple chapters, and then allow me to jump between each of the chapters whenever whenever I want. So I can say load chapter 2 or load chapter 5 and then say load chapter 1, so I can jump between the chapters as I see fit. Another thing that I wanted was for each chapter to also have an exercise at the end, so I can practice what I've been learning. And Gemini set the thing up for me. So it's a very small course. There's 5 chapters. The first chapter is the Git workflow. Second chapter is exploring your history. Third chapter is fixing mistakes. Fourth chapter is branching out, and then fifth chapter is working together. Um, in the first chapter, we'll be learning about staging and committing. In the second chapter, we're learning about viewing and searching for commits that have been done. Third chapter is about undoing changes, stuff like unstaging files and actually not just unstaging. So there were more advanced ways of reversing the changes that you've made as well. So that's I if I remember right, that's the chapter I'm currently on. Anyways, the fourth chapter is creating, merging, and deleting branches, and the fifth chapter is remotes and pushing and pulling. So yeah, we are currently on chapter 3 because I already did chapter. You know what? Okay, we can go through. We can go from chapter 1. Um, like we can restart. Basically, we can start from chapter 1 all over again and just follow the steps so that more practice. It's very basic stuff, just initializing the repo and creating files, maybe adding content to the files, and then committing those changes, and then seeing what everything looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna read this thing out. Chapter 1, the Git workflow, staging and committing. Welcome to the first chapter. Before we dive into Git UI, let's quickly review the fundamental three-state workflow that powers Git. Understanding these states is key to using any Git tool effectively. The first is working directory. This is where you create and edit your files. Think of it as your sandbox. The second is the staging area. This is a temporary holding area where you select which changes you want to include in your next commit. It allows you to create highly specific and focused commits. And the third is the repository or your repo. This is the final destination. That's a sentence. Okay, this is the final destination. When you commit, you are taking the staged changes, and permanently recording them in your project's history. This is the core of the loop using Git. What? This is the core loop of using Git. You make changes, add them to the staging area, and then commit them to the repository. Okay, performing the workflow in Git UI. Now let's get our hands dirty and see this workflow in action using Git UI. Okay, here it's explaining how stuff is done in Git UI. If I'm being honest, Gemini did get some information wrong here about Git UI because there were some differences between what Gemini said I had to do versus what I actually had to do, which is fine. I wasn't expecting Gemini to really know too much about Git UI, but whatever it knows, that's great. I know my way around Git UI, and also I just want to quickly mention this. This is very useful because if you look at the bottom here, in each of the sections, whatever window you are on, usually at the bottom, they're going to show all of the or the majority of the possible commands for that section. Commands that have to do something with that section. And any commands that cannot be executed at, that given point in time due to whatever reason. Like, for example, I'm guessing staging isn't a possibility right now because there are no files to stage, right? I'm looking for the thing that mentions staging. I think it might not even be in the list. Either way, some of the commands that cannot be executed for whatever reason currently, for the time being, they'll be grayed out. But the ones that can be executed, you'll be able to see them lit up. So you already have like a very helpful help system in place, which is constantly telling you that, hey, in this screen you have to use so and so shortcuts, and that screen you have to use so and so shortcuts. So you kind of already have all of the information that you need in order to be able to navigate this program. That's believe me when I tell you, this has helped me so much. Not having to remember key bindings and key maps and stuff, because it's not like I'm constantly working in this application, right? The only time I'm going to come back to this application is when I've done a bunch of work on my project and I need to push the changes to the repo. So I'm not going to be spending too much time in this application, which is why I'm not really going to be remembering all of the shortcuts. So it's helpful that it shows the shortcuts here. There's also this. There's a help screen in which all of the commands are mentioned if you ever need to, visit the list. I forgot why I was saying this. Yeah, I don't remember why I was saying this. Okay, that being said, oh yeah, I think I was saying it because uh, Gemini got some information wrong about the commands and certain other things about Git UI, but That's fine because I wasn't really expecting it to give completely accurate information. And I kind of already know my way around the Git UI application. They haven't made it extremely complicated. It's very straightforward. And once your brain kind of connects the dots after using it for a little bit, you'll see you'll understand what I mean by it's pretty straightforward. Okay, now let's jump into our first exercise. So the first exercise tells us to create a project folder, which I've kind of already done that. Give me a second. I'm going to create a new, actually I have this new window already, right? I need to cd into scratch stuff, some repo, and yeah, here I've already created the, what is it, LA? Yeah. So I've already created, by the way, dude, recently I was looking in my bash RC file. Every now and then I have to jump into the bash RC file to either add something or change something or whatever. So I was exploring the bash RC file and I noticed aliases for ls commands. I didn't even know those aliases words. I didn't even know that those aliases existed. Why was that so hard to say? Okay, anyways, so um, I didn't even know that those aliases existed. Like this one, LA, for example. This shows you the thing with hidden folders because ls by default doesn't show you hidden folders. There was also an ll, which I don't remember what exactly it's for. But yeah, that does a thing as well. These are all basically just ls commands with various flags. So if you want to learn about the ls command, you can just type man ls and it'll show you various things. So you can see here it says -a is for do not ignore entries starting with dot. Dot files and dot folders are usually stuff that's meant to be hidden. So by default, it's not going to show that stuff, even in something like Yahtzee. So for example, if let's say I open up Yahtzee into this directory, you won't see it right now, but if I press dot to show the hidden files and folders, now you can see it. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so in the exercise, the first step is to make the directory. We can, you know what, we can do this. Okay, we can restart the process. That's fine. cd rm rf some repo, and now let's make the repo directory. So some repo o1, and then we cd into some repo. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah. Okay. So we've cd'd into the directory. Now we can type git init, and this initializes our repo. So we can now see the Git folder there. Let me also cd here because here we are going to be opening up Git UI. So once you have a repo initialized within a specific directory, you can navigate into that directory and then open up Git UI there. You can basically fire up Git UI from that directory and it's gonna load up. It's not gonna work if you try to load it up from within a directory that doesn't have a Git repo initialized. Though I haven't tried firing Git UI by passing in the path to a Git repository. I haven't tried that method. Uh, that might work. I haven't tried it, so I can't say for sure. But the method that I know works for sure is you cd into the repo directory and then you fire up Git UI from that directory. Okay. Now the next thing in the exercise was, well, I did a bunch of the stuff that it was asking to do. Made the directory, cd'd into the directory, initialized the repo using git init, Then it says create your first file. To create the first file, we can just use the echo command. Actually, I want to do something else. Oh shit, hold on. So I accidentally went into this window, but I just remembered I had this. So, okay, we are done learning about Vim Slime, which is amazing, awesome. I do need to finish learning Lua, and this has to do specifically with NeoVim because I want to be able to understand the config files that are usually present for various things like plugin specs and settings and just even general NeoVim settings. And I think key maps are also specified using Lua. I don't remember, but yeah, I wanted to learn Lua and then also understand the various config files. So at some point, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that on stream or off stream. And dude, this fucking project, dude, Stream AI voice app, this is something that is really holding me back. Actually, no, not having finished this project is what's really holding me back. I need to get back into this, dude. I'm getting super close to doing it though, because I've been doing research on Onyx as well. One of our previous streams was exporting Onyx models and I think also running Onyx models. And yeah, once I've done that, I need to explore the sub process module to learn how to fire up separate threads, separate processes, in fact. And, you know, by that logic, it's going to be separate threads so that each thread can then run a separate Onyx instance. Yeah, yeah. I've got some work to do. Though I'm curious whether I should set up the Onyx thing through Rust, as in the Onyx worker threads for the distributed stuff. If I should set that up through because like okay, here's the thing, right? Initially, what I was thinking was I might need to set up separate Python scripts for, well, I might need to set up a Python script, which would then be fired in each of the quote unquote worker threads. But then I realized if I'm using the subprocess module, I'm not limited. I'm not limited to only executing Python scripts. I could very easily set up a Rust based client for the worker and then fire that instead of firing a Python script. I wonder if that would be faster. Because like if I did set up a Python script, this is not to say that that would be any slower. Because whether it's faster or slower, it would really depend. It would really depend upon a lot of factors. I think both of them would be fast because the Onyx side, the Onyx runtime, even on the Python side, the Onyx runtime is running through like C++ stuff. It's not running through Python. Python is what's passing the data into the C++ side, but the actual work, the actual like heavy lifting is being done by C++ library. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see because dude, I really want to get back into Rust as well. Oh, you know what I could do? This just occurred to me. This legit just occurred to me. I need to update my Task Warrior daily dailies list to say task add Rust Gemini learning. No, do one Rust Gemini learning chapter. What? Hold on. Do do one Rust chapter from Gemini. From Gemini Rust tutorial. Yeah, I guess let's go with that. Oh, this has to be project dailies. So this way I can do like bit by bit. Daily, I can do at least a little bit of Rust and, you know, explore a little here, explore a little there, and gradually I'm gonna go deeper into Rust as well. Because like I feel like as much as I want to do a bunch of stuff in Rust, I feel like I haven't gotten past that point where I completely know the basics. Though I do also feel like I know the basics, but then I need to be a little more comfortable with the program before I start doing projects. But then I kind of have to take my own advice as well, which is I usually tell people that, dude, if you want to learn a specific programming language or framework or library or whatever, just make shit. Just make shit with it. Even if it's dumb shit, just make shit. And as you make more and more stuff, you'll learn. Dude, I wonder if my task should be to just make something in Rust. But then I feel like having that as a daily task is going to be a bit it's going to be a bit too time consuming. I don't want to spend too much time in only learning Rust because I have a bunch of other stuff to do as well. So like if I spend time learning only Rust, I'm not going to be able to get to the other stuff that I was trying to do on that day. Give me a second. My stream manager seems to be working now. Well, my Twitch app seems to be working now, so I'm just setting that thing up. And yeah, okay, cool. So I'm just gonna save this, and yeah, we're gonna come back here and resume with this. Okay. So what we are gonna do in this case is I'm gonna open up NeoVim here, and I'm gonna open up a new file. So let's say some file o1.txt. Oh, yeah, let's save that. Okay, that's saved. Also, okay, so yesterday I noticed this thing. I'm guessing you guys can see it on stream as well. But next to in the file explorer thing here, next to the file name, there's a question mark. I noticed that the question mark disappears after you commit this change to your repo. So I'm wondering if this has to do with like whatever Git plugin is running in NeoVim. I should also see. I should also explore the Git NeoVim features because there's tons of Git related stuff for NeoVim. I haven't touched a whole lot of it because I didn't want to bring Git stuff into NeoVim because I had the Git UI already. So I didn't want to like unnecessarily bring a whole bunch of Git stuff into NeoVim. There is already some stuff in NeoVim relating to Git. I do want to explore what features are available here. I need to find out what the plugin is that's bringing this Git stuff. You can see at the bottom it says normal and master. So this is the master branch. Give me a second. Okay, so right. So here we're going to say this is a sentence. Okay, so we save that and then we come back here into Git UI and you can see already it has added the file into unstaged changes. So I need to stage the change. Now I'm not going to do it just yet. We're going to follow this tutorial thing. So it says, okay, open up the Git UI interface and then stage the file and then commit your changes. So we're going to stage the file by hitting enter. And then we're going to start the commit process by hitting C. And here we're going to say added or created. Let's say created. Or is added better? I don't remember. Okay, so their suggestion is feat initial commit. So their suggestion is this: feat initial commit with readme.md. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is not an MD file. Okay, but yeah, I need to look into like why is it specifically saying feat here? Like, because I'm assuming that's supposed to be feature, but then we are not doing any branching stuff. We haven't really gotten into it. Or is it like feat as in like a new progress, a new feat that we have achieved? I don't know. Okay. So let's say added some underscore file or one.txt. And then to commit, I believe it's control D. So this is what I was saying. Like it mentions the shortcuts down there. Uh, even as you have like different windows popping up, like just now we were in the commit window, so it was showing the shortcut that you press control D to commit. Okay, so we have done our commit and now this entire section is empty. If you go to log, you can now see the commit that we made, and you can also explore the details of this commit. Yeah, that's chapter 1 pretty much. And then we have chapter 2. So chapter 2 is exploring your history, viewing and searching commits. So this one was interesting. I don't think I'm gonna go too deep into this because it was mainly about viewing the commits and searching for them, which in Git UI, it's you press F and then you can search. You can also, you have these search parameters for, customizing what the search is supposed to be like. In this case, we only have one commit so far. We can, you know what, we can make some changes. Hold on. This is another sentence. Okay, we're going to save that and we're going to go back here. And here it now says M in the unstaged changes. It doesn't say plus because the file wasn't added, the file was modified. So we stage the change, we commit it. Dude, see, I love how fast this is. You can just stage the thing and then commit, type out your message. And even here, you're not limited to just this small box. I can actually open this up in NeoVim if I wanted to. Let me do that here. I'm hoping I don't have that issue where exiting out of NeoVim kind of hangs the the thing, because that happens sometimes. But anyways, okay. Right. So here it's showing you the changes that were made. None of this stuff, at least from my understanding, none of this stuff is going to be. Oh yeah, it does mention here. Lines starting with so and so will be ignored. So this is mainly showing you what has been done here. So now here we are within NeoVim, and yeah, we can type out the commit message saying updated some underscore file dot txt. Okay, cool. and then we save and exit, and the thing has been added here. So now we can commit, and there we go. We have our next commit in the list. Oh, yeah, we were supposed to search. So let's say I have the latest commit selected in the list, right? Let's try searching for the word added, which is within uh, our first commit. There you go. You can see the search results, and it selects the ones that are within your search. Let me try the word some, because that exists in both of their summaries. So now you can see there's two options here, right? I believe it is N to go forward and capital N to go backward. Let me just, or is it this? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not N. It's just a regular, actually, maybe does N work? No. Yeah, it's just arrow keys. If we had more commits, then I would be able to show you guys stuff that's not getting highlighted, and basically you'll only be scrolling through the commits that have been highlighted by the search result. So that's basically searching for your commits. Then, okay, there's a whole exercise thing about adding stuff. No, there's a whole exercise thing about viewing commits and searching for commits. And we just did that. Oh yeah, I can also look at the details of this commit. So this is like short details, but if I want to go into more detail with it, I can hit enter to see this, but then hit right to go into even more detail. And then we have this as well, the diffing thing, and we have information like, the info and the message and the files that were affected in that commit, stuff like that. Okay, so that is chapter 2. And now chapter 3, fixing mistakes, undoing changes. It's a fact of life that every developer you what It's a fact of life for every developer. You will make mistakes. You will commit the wrong file, write a bad commit message, or realize you need to roll back some changes. Git has a variety of tools for undoing things, and Git UI provides an intuitive interface for all of them. By the way, before we continue, the person that started this project, apparently they loved this feature, stashing, and they felt like a lot of other tools, or maybe just the Git CLI itself, I don't remember, they had some issue with certain other tools and how those other tools handled stashing specifically. So they wanted this. I'm trying to remember if I'm remembering right or wrong. If it was this tool, Git UI, or if it was the Go based tool, but there was one of these tools. The author of the tool was very passionate about this specific feature, stashing. And I want to explore stashing as well, which I'm glad that they're covering stashing in this in chapter 3 itself. Because stashing, like the concept is kind of interesting. From what I understand, it basically allows you to put the work that you're doing on hold so that you can go back to your repo and make whatever changes you want, and then come back to this work that you were doing, and finish the work and then commit that. But that commit that you're doing, you're basically going to be merging it as if it were a separate branch that you had created, but it's not really a branch that you created. It's like a separate thing. Stashing is it's a separate feature. I need to see the difference between these two. I still don't know. I don't know jack shit about stashing, but this is what I've understood so far based on Gemini's explanation. So I do wanna explore this feature more. Okay. Oh, by the way, yeah, here's what I was talking about. In the files section, you'll be able to see all of the files that are within your current working directory. Okay. Um, where was I? Yeah, it's important to know that most of Git's undo features are non-destructive. They add new history to your repository instead of deleting old history. This is a powerful safety feature. Let's look at let's look at hold on words. Let's look at the three most common ways to undo changes. Sorry, zoned out for a little bit. Okay, here are the key actions we'll be using in Git UI: unstaging, stashing, and reverting. Okay, so unstaging. This is the simplest undo. If you've staged a file, but you haven't committed it yet, you can unstage it to move it back to the unstaged files panel. Okay, then stashing. This is for when you're working on something but need to switch tasks quickly without committing your changes. It temporarily saves your committed work so you can apply it again later. Sorry, zoned out again. Um, where was I? Yeah, it temporarily saves your uncommitted work so you can apply it again later. Okay, and then we have reverting. This is how you undo a past commit. It creates a new commit that reverses the changes from an earlier commit. The original bad commit remains in your history, but the new commit cancels out, the new commit cancels out its effects. What is going on? Why was that so hard to say? Oh, there's one more feature: resetting. This is a more forceful way to undo a commit. It moves the branch pointer to a previous commit, effectively uncommitting changes. Okay. The undone commits are no longer part of your branch's history. This is a hold on. The what? The undone commits are no longer part of your branch's history. This is a powerful tool and can be destructive, so use it carefully. We will use the safest option, mixed reset. Okay, I didn't know about this one. I think I'd read about this in the Git thing. There was a thing about resetting, and they were saying it's like extremely destructive. I don't remember what exactly it was saying there, but there was something that they were warning about where using reset can be very destructive. But yeah, okay, we'll be exploring this as well. So here is the exercise. Practice undoing. Let's use the Git UI course repository. Okay, well, I named my repo something else. To practice these different undo methods, staging and unstaging. Open the file and add a new line of text. Save the file. Open Git UI, and you will see README, or well, whatever the file's name is, in the unstaged files panel. Press enter to stage the file. It moves to the staged files panel. Now, without committing, select the file again. It's in the staged list now, and press U. You'll see it instantly move back to the unstaged files panel. Okay, let's do that. So this is yet another sentence. No, let's make it a little different. Something, something, something. So we save this, go back, and here we have unstaged changes. So we stage it, and then let me just make sure for me it's you, or no, for me it's not you, it's enter. So when you're in the staged changes panel, then enter stages it. But when you're, no, when you're in the unstaged changes panel, then enter stages it. But when you're in the staged changes panel, enter unstages it. Great. Awesome. So that's unstaged. Then stashing and popping. Add a different line to the file, and also add a line to notes.txt. At what point did I create notes.txt in this? Okay, let's create a notes.txt file. Let's come here, notes.txt. Okay, the file has been created, and now we have two unstaged changes. We have notes and some file. So notes.txt has been added, and some file o1.txt has been modified. Now, what are we doing here? Go to unstaged. In the unstaged files panel, press enter to stage the file. It moves to the staged files. Okay, so they're talking about this specifically. They haven't spoken about notes.txt yet. Now, without committing, select the file again, this time from the staged list, and press U. Wait, I'm looking at the old one. Fuck me. Okay, we're gonna move past that. So it said add a different line to this file, and then also add a line to notes.txt. Then we open Git UI, and once you open it, you should see both files in the unstaged panel. Without staging, press capital S. Okay, so let's unstage this. Now we have this. Okay, what is the thing for stashing? Because it doesn't mention capital S says for modules here. It doesn't mention the thing about stashing. Should I do it here instead? I think I have to do it here. See, this is what I was talking about. Like, I have to translate the information myself to Git UI, which I have no problem with. I was fully intending on doing that. But like, this is something I have to watch out for. I have to understand exactly what is going on here so that I can do it properly. Without staging, press so-and-so. A new dialog will appear asking for a stash message. Type work in progress halfway through updating so-and-so and press enter. Okay, so that's the commit thing. Your working directory is now clean. Okay, all right, so let's do that. Save, toggle untracked. Okay, fine. Stash name, work in progress. Halfway through editing some file o1.txt and created notes.txt. Stash. Okay. So this is our stash. Now we have created this stash. If we come back here, we can see that there's no unstaged changes. If we go to the log, then this is our latest commit, which is our previous commit. If we go to the files, we can see notes.txt hasn't been, it's not part of the thing. And if we look at the contents of some file o1, we have these old contents. We don't have the new contents. Oh yeah, this is another thing that I noticed. Because you are actively like because you actively have these files open, right? And if you kind of revert back to some other, let's say, state of the repo where the file didn't exist, then it's gonna give you that error because the file doesn't exist and the buffer is trying to read from that. Though what's interesting is this tells me that the program is constantly trying to read from the file, maybe at like, set intervals. It's not like a one-time loading process. Or maybe there's some other reason why there's this error. I don't know. Maybe in my mind I'm connecting the things wrong. Okay, so we have now stashed the changes. Okay, so it says your working directory is now clean. The changes are gone. The files look like they were before you started. Now press P. A menu will pop up with your stashed changes. Select the one you just created. The changes will be reapplied to your working directory and the files will reappear in the unstaged files panel. Okay, let me see how to translate this to Git UI. Okay, so popping is simple here, fortunately. So there's pop, there's apply, and drop. Okay, what if we inspect this? Oh shit, wait, no, don't do that. Inspect, like this. Okay, cool. Great. So this shows that, so-and-so file was created and then so-and-so file was modified. Cool. Right. So I'm supposed to pop this. I wonder what happens if I hit apply. That's something I should check out. Hold on. Let me note this down. Git UI. Wait, no. Why am I doing this here? I'm supposed to do it here. tjournal, how to disable Python history manager. Oh, I was supposed to write this down. Did I ever write this down? I can't remember if I wrote this down. Okay, yeah, delete this and add this here. Git UI, and then in here, I need to do in stashes tab, what's the difference between what? Pop, apply, and drop. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm looking for, right? Okay. Between pop, apply, and drop. Okay, cool. Great. So we'll pop this. The stash will be applied and removed from the stash list. Confirm stash pop. Yes. By the way, I wanna just show you guys again, like this thing that I was talking about, how Git UI mentions the keys that you can press, the shortcuts that you can press. Notice how in in status, you have these different keys that you can press. In log, you have different keys. In files, there's different keys. In stashing, there's different keys, and then there's under stashes, there's also different keys. And then when I try to pop one of the stashes, there's different keys there. Okay, confirm. Okay, all right. Sorry, zoned out for a bit. So we have now done this. Does this get recorded? No, it's not being recorded here, but what if I do like a ref log or something like that? I wonder, yeah, I wonder if that would show it, because the ref log also shows when the head is pointing towards something different, or if we are in a detached head state, which by the way, the the concept of like the head is actually pretty interesting. I found out that okay, branches are basically pointers to different sections, like uh different commits. These are like named pointers. And when you select a branch, you are telling the head which one of these named pointers to point at. And if you decide to point the head at just a commit and not one of these named pointers, the named pointers are branches. So if you decide to point the head towards just a commit and not a named branch, then you enter a detached head state, basically meaning that the head is not pointing towards one of the branches, it's pointing to a specific commit. And there's some interesting stuff that happens there, because like you can still make commits at that point, even if like you're like way back in the commit history and you've jumped back to one of the previous commits. Even from there you can make a new commit, um, and then you can like to uh, jump to one of the named branches, and then that commit that you had, it'll be kind of like an orphan commit. Or you could create a branch out of that commit itself, and then now you have a named branch there. And in order to see all of these details, which I was kind of disappointed about the fact that I wasn't able to find that here, or it could be that I haven't fully explored this entire application. There's probably more stuff that I haven't seen. Um, Give me a second. Let me create a new thing here. CD, scratch work, some repo. In here, we can do git ref log. This is our ref log so far because we only have 2 commits. Also, okay, I wonder if, right, it's only the commits that are being shown. Yeah, okay, so that would be something interesting to explore. Um, what was I doing? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So we just stashed our changes and then popped the stash as well. Cool. I need to play around with stashing more. I need to, yeah, I need to do that. Hold on. Let me add that to my list here. Uh, Play around with stashing more. Oh, we'll just, give me a second. I do not know what just happened there. I had some key combination and it said it cannot open the display. I don't know if that has something to do with tmux or with SSH, because I'm currently controlling the thing from another machine. Never mind. Okay, whatever. Right. So we are here, and okay. All right. Reverting a commit. In your terminal, add a single line to notes.txt and commit the change with the message feat a change to revert. Okay. Open Git UI. You should see this new commit at the top of the log panel. Okay, they didn't talk about committing the changes from this thing, so I'm gonna commit this. Um, let's stage, and then wait. What's the thing for staging all? Oh, A. A is to stage all. A is also to unstage all. then commit, made some changes, and commit this. Okay, so that's done there. And now let's add a thing here. This is something added to the notes file. Okay, cool. And there it is. It's added. And now we just commit the thing, right? Updated notes.txt. Great. So what was going on here? Yeah, select the new commit and press D and then select revert. A new commit message will pop up pre-filled with the message revert feed a so-and-so. Press enter twice to accept it. Okay. Dude, I'm curious about this thing. Press enter twice. Where is it getting that information from? Because it has to be making this assumption about the program based on something. So in this case, when it's saying press enter twice, in reality, in Git UI, you have to do Control D. That's to actually, you know, do the commit. That's to actually commit the changes. But yeah, I'm curious about where it's getting this information from. Anyways, look at your log. You now have two new commits. The one you just made and the new revert. Okay, yeah, let's try that. So, okay, there's revert. Okay, wait, there's okay. So this is something more for me to explore. What is the difference between revert, reset, and reword? So that's something I need to explore. In log tab, what's the difference between revert, reset, and reword? Okay. Sorry, zoned out for a bit. Okay, so what was I? Oh yeah, we were trying to revert the changes. So here it is. It says Shift D is to revert, and here it's showing that these are the changes staged. Okay, it's removing this thing and then pending revert. Can we? Okay, let's commit this, revert this. This reverts, commit so and so. Okay, cool. And now we have the changes here. It says revert so and so thing. There it is. Okay, cool. Then resetting a commit in your terminal, add another single line to so and so file and commit it with the message docs a change to reset. Okay, all right. So how do I translate this to what I'm doing. We can, okay. This is a sentence. Oh, no, this is a change that will be reset. Okay, so then we come here and there's our change. Open it. Now select the commit before this one. Press R and select mixed reset. Wait, hold up. Oh, okay, they said commit the thing. Give me a second. Yeah, they said commit the message. What did they say to a change to reset? Okay, so we will name this a change to reset. Done. Great. All right, look at your log. Wait, you should be able to see the new commit. Now select the commit before this one and select mixed reset. Okay, so I'm only seeing a reset option. I'm not seeing mixed reset, but let's hope that it does what I'm expecting it to do. Look at your log. The commit so-and-so is now gone from the log. How does that work? So, okay. Oh, so this is okay. This is interesting. So we have reset, but we get to decide what kind of reset it is. It can be a soft reset, which will keep all the changes. I'm glad that they mentioned the keys down, dude. Like the close, confirm, and change type. It just occurred to me that, hey, let me try pressing the arrow keys to see if the option changes, and that's what's happening here. So we have soft, which keeps all the changes and stages the differences. Then we have mixed, which keeps all the changes and unstages the differences. And then we have hard, which discards all the local changes. Okay, but um, shouldn't I be resetting this instead? Like, why am I selecting this, but then resetting this? Like, how is that? I kind of feel like Gemini might be getting this one wrong unless I'm understanding the thing wrong. Look at your log. The commit, a change to reset is now gone from the log. And if you look at your unstaged changes panel, you'll see so and so. With the changes you made in that commit, Git has uncommitted the changes and moved them back to your working directory and unstaged area. Okay, let's just take a chance here and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to do the mixed commit change. Mixed commit change, what? No, the mixed reset thing. We'll confirm it. Did something happen? Okay, nothing happened here. Okay, it says reset to this. Okay, let's try that then. All right. Oh, there it is. Now the list is gone. Okay, so Gemini did not get it wrong. I was supposed to select that one because we had to reset to that. Okay, all right. Okay, so these are our changes, which we can find here. This is a change that will be reset, and then I can like stage the thing or unstage or whatever. And yeah. Now the last one remaining is branching and remotes, and that's going to be like a whole complex thing of its own. I kind of feel like I want to play around with stashing um, and reverting and resetting a little more before I jump to branching. Yeah, I kind of want to take some time with practicing that stuff before I move on to branching and remotes, because there's going to be a bunch of stuff to explore with branching and remotes as well. With remotes, there's going to be both local remotes and I forgot what the other one is called. Local remotes and remotes on the internet. Um, More specifically, GitHub is going to be the remote on the internet. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So, um, I did not. You're kidding. You are joking. I was supposed to do this so that that doesn't show up, but like whatever. It's fine. So this is a person that we're going to be rating. I mean, I can just like disable the thing. Yeah, so this is a person that we're going to be rating. It's somebody named Hot Girl Icarus. Uh, yeah, give me a second. Let me set up the thing. Yeah, okay. So that's gonna be it for today's stream. Um, yeah, dude, that's it. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.